Are you struggling with color correcting your videos and photos? Is it hard to get everything looking consistent? Then continue watching this video, because I will show you how color correction is made easy with the SpyderCHECKR 24. Welcome to the channel, my name is Mats, and when I learn filmmaking you do too, so make sure to subscribe for more content. So when I started filmmaking, I had one big problem, and that was to get everything consistent. I just wanted one easy way to do it without hassle and to make it consistent every time. I tried to get it right by watching a ton of tutorials and it did not quite work out. So finally I found this tool, and it's wonderful to use. It's easy and it saves so much time. And now you may wonder, why didn't I stick with the standard profile or any other profile on the camera? And well, I will come back to that, but first let's check out the Colorchecker, what it is and how to use it. The Colorchecker is a chart of all the necessary colors you need. All colors on the chart are almost a perfect representation of the actual color. This makes it very useful as long as it shows up in some part of your recorded video or photo. And we can use this to correct the colors in almost any image. So now when we know what the Colorchecker is, let's jump over to the computer and I will show you exactly how to use it. So one thing I want to mention before we start this color correction is that if you record with the 8-bit, you should get as close as you can already in the camera, because you can only nudge the colors in one or another direction, because if you are off too much, you're gonna get artifact in your image. So I use Davinci Resolve. You can use whatever software you want to use as long as it supports what we're gonna do right here. But I use Davinci Resolve because it's free and it's super powerful to use when you're doing things like color correction and color grading. So that's a recommendation if you want a really good and powerful editing software. And did I mention that it's free? So the first thing you want to make sure is that you put up the card in your video when you're recording. So when you're holding it up, you want to slightly move it in the light, because you don't want to have a reflection in the card. If we move forward in the timeline, you can see that I moved the card, so that's a really good spot. You can see that it's no reflection, it's looking quite good. So when you have that sorted out, go down to the color tab right down here. So the first thing I do is that I label this to correction, so you know that all your corrections will live in that node. There's two ways to do this. You have the automated way, you're letting Davinci Resolve do everything. It haven't worked out that good for me, but I will show you. But first I will show you the manual way, because you have more control and it's super easy. The first thing I do is to change the scope from parade to the vector scope, because in the vector scope you will see wherever your colors live. And as you can see, you have some dots. All these dots is a representation of all the colors you have on the chart, and in the background, of course. The colors in the background and my skin color will be more spread out. So now you want to go over to the masking tool, go down to this tool. I'm zooming in and I will draw a mask around this area of the card, because this is the colors we want to use. Then press on this little icon here to select only these colors. And when we're going back to the vector scope now, you can see that this is the only colors that shows up. And if we look here, we can see that the colors is actually really good, but we need to do some correction. So what we want to do is we'll go over to the waveform. Then we will go over to the second dot, and we want it to be on hue versus hue. Then the only thing you have to do is to press on red, yellow, green, cyan, blue and magenta. Now we have all these dots, and what this gonna do is when we take yellow for an example, if I change this, you can see that on the vector scope it will change too. So you can position it into this little square. It's the representation of the color. Cyan, we can adjust cyan a little bit right there. Magenta is a little off, so we nudge it a little bit. And blue looks quite good. So the next thing we want to do is go over to this tab right here and press the arrow and change it from hue to saturation. Because if we're watching here in the vector scope, you can see red is almost here in the square, but blue is only half the way. And that means that the red is more saturated than the blue. And we want to match this so it's rather unified. Press all of this one more time. Then you just do as you did before with the hue versus hue, but in this case you change in hue versus saturation. And if we take the red, we can get it down slightly like that. Then we take yellow, slightly down. Green looks okay. We can take cyan and that. Maybe adjusting some on the green too. And the blue I have to bump up a little bit. Magenta we have to slightly reduce, maybe a little more on the blue. And there you have it. Every color is living in their own space, and the saturation as well. So now we can uncheck this little icon here. Zoom out, we can go back to the masking tool and uncheck this, and you can see that if we now pressing the before and after, you can see that it's quite a bit of difference. This is before, this is after. You can see that it's more unified and you have an overall more correct image. So I do recommend to use the manual way because you have more control. But if you want to use the inbuilt tool that you can use to just click one button and do the same, I will show you that too. And the first thing you have to do is go over to this tab, color matching tab, and you can see that I have all the colors here as the same as I have here, or maybe not the same because this is the X-Right color checker, but we will change this in a bit. The first thing you have to do right now is that you have to go down here in the left down corner in this player, press that, change it to color chart. Now you're getting this weird looking thing, and we will come back to this in a little bit. But first you have to change to the one that you have, and I use the SpyderCHECKR 24. So if we press that, you can see that all these colors, it's a perfect match. The thing you have to do now is to, if you zoom into your image, this corner should be the brown here, and this corner down here is the black. So the only thing you have to do is to take this corner, align it with the brown corner, and this with the black. Then you're taking this to the white, and try not to include your skin color, and this down here, and just make sure that all these little squares are in the colors. But the only thing you have to do now is go down here and press match. And you can see that it did exactly the same thing that I did. You can see down here how much of the colors it have changed, and it should be the same. If we remove this and you go into this little tab again and press off, we can just go back, and now you have the correction. If we go into the vector scope again, let's make a mask on this colors like we did before, and I'm doing this just because I want to check how good the automated process was, and as you can see, it was not that good. I think the manual way is much better, but if you can't spare 10 minutes to do it yourself, then use this method. But I do prefer the manual way because you can dial it in precisely as it should be. So as you see, it's very easy to use this color chart to correct the colors in your image. And there are tons of variation of this color checker. You have the cheap one, you have the middle one, and you have the more expensive one. The one I use is the SpyderCHECKR 24, and I picked it up for around $50. And I will leave a link in the description down below. And yes, they are affiliate links, so when you make a purchase, I do get a commission. Of course, with no extra cost for you, but it will help me make more videos for you. So why do I not want to use the standard picture profile or any other picture profile directly from my camera? The easiest answer is that depending on the situation you are in, lights and everything else, it can be different in the colors, and I do not want that. I want it to be perfectly every time. I want to have a base that I can be sure is correct that I can build my grade and my look out from. It's quite weird that this tool doesn't get more light than it does. Or do I miss something? If I do, let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to hit the thumb button if you like this video and if you get something out of it. And of course, don't forget to subscribe on the way out. And as always, thank you for watching, and I see you in the next one.